What's up guys, and welcome to another episode of El Jardín Perdido. Today we're doing a quick winter tour for 2021. Alright, so if you guys follow me, you know that Houston, Texas got absolutely demolished last winter. Our forecast has been in the 80s, hence the short sleeves, but we're expecting them to go down into freezing in this upcoming weekend. So given that, I did want to show you the progress since the last tour, since some of the damage had been done. Wanted to show you guys what had bounced back, how things are looking pretty good right now. I still need to mulch a little bit, but I'm gonna show you guys around. So since last year, I did come back with some vengeance, and I made some islands up front here, and yeah, I've planted a little bit more, but we're gonna make this pretty quick. But we got some radishes I'm gonna let go to seed, nice strawberry patches down here, a nice tangelo. I actually took this out of the ground last year before the freeze, but it's flowering now. Hopefully we can get some fruit set regardless of the freeze there. Blackberry down here, some beautyberry I transplanted, Orinoco's, they all came back, although not quite as much vigor this year. That could be because of the chase tree or the lilac next to it. Is the root system might be competing a lot with it, and I didn't really mulch earlier in the season all that much. Turk's cap hibiscus, it's already flowered and fruited this year, so right now it's just kind of doing its thing. Nice growth though. This is a cold hardy satsuma. Hopefully it doesn't have any problems. It's really just a dip this winter, or this upcoming week, but I really just wanted to document real quick, you know, some of the annuals and stuff. Like we have Swiss chard here that'll probably make it. We've got some onions, strawberries I hoped would spread a little more, some kale, some cabbage, a little opportune sunflower. Also these tomatoes I didn't even plant. They've been popping up all over the place because I've been fertilizing with the manure and the hay, so lots of seeds get in there. That's an elderberry kind of sleeping behind there. This arch, actually my other one broke just due to weathering, so I stuck some mulberries in there, and some of them have actually taken. Do a quick scratch test. That one's dead, but I know maybe they've all died by now. Yeah, it looks like they've all died. I wanted a living arbor, but unless the other side, I'm not going to scratch them all right now, but it's a nice fix for now. And we have tons of Malabar spinach flowering, going to seed or fruit / seed. So that'll be sure to come back next year in the same spot. Have a beautiful amla, which is Indian gooseberry. It should be okay with the cold here. Pomegranate had some frost damage. It's all right. It's kind of sleeping right now. Some roses just to attract beneficials, and it's kind of nice to have up front. This is a loquat we started from seed in the previous video. Nice growth on that. No fruit or flowers on this one in particular, but it's looking good. This is a lemon I've had here for years. It's been through frosts. Slowly but surely, I may replace this. It's kind of absolutely pathetic, but it may put off fruit pretty soon here. It's probably old enough, so I'll probably just let it be until I see some fruit. Quince, kind of more of ornamental. This is a white Russian mulberry. Put on lots of growth, looks good. I did have a mulberry that I initially grafted over here, and it had problems from the last frost, so I went ahead and replaced it. Moving along on the whole hedge here, we have lots of moringa going to flower, going to seed pods. I'm gonna harvest some of this before the freeze. We have some roselle. I've already harvested everything off of it. Its roots should stay alive. I have kind of a dwarf ornamental Barbados down here. More moringa. Bush cherry, I'm waiting to harvest those guys. They look pretty good. Give it about a few days. Cassava came back from the roots and it is going nuts. I need to kind of re-trellis this. I'm actually trellising it with the cassava that died back. Yeah, I'll fix that at another time, but it's growing into the neighbor's yard a little bit. But yeah, I'll probably take some cuttings of this too. Goji berry gave me lots of fruit this year. Just kind of hanging out right now. It'll do fine with the frost. Rest in peace, my cinnamon never came back. I was patient and nothing came up. So I definitely like to replant there. It seems to do good in the shade. Probably not the best spot for this hazelnut here. Probably a little bit too much shade, but it does seem to be doing pretty well. No fruit yet. It's been here about 3 years. I may transplant that elsewhere. Retransplanted some cacti. They were just like a native prickly pear. Let me see. I put a spineless in here and it doesn't seem to be doing as well as the native behind it. So as much as I prefer spineless, sometimes you gotta just do what works. So I'll probably, encourage the native to work a little better here. We have the falsa back here. Always comes back from the dead. Put off some fruit earlier in the year. All right, so in the front bed here, we have lots of strawberries. I'm getting strawberry fruits already. We have this mandarin that's been back from the dead several times. I basically kind of air layered it, so its rootstock is actually, it's basically a seedling. It's all mandarin. There is no alternative rootstock, but it keeps bouncing back. Hopefully it doesn't get knocked back too much. Have some asparagus, still doing pretty well. Okra's on its last leg. I've still gotten a few okra though. There's a few still flowering. It's taro back there. Great root crop. I have a volunteer pomegranate that I'm just gonna leave there. Might look kind of nice up front there when it grows up a bit more. The monarchs are going absolutely nuts. On the milkweed here, it's going to seed, it's going nuts. I'm trying to save some seeds. I don't really want it to replicate much more than it already has in here, but it is nice seeing all the monarchs. Yeah, monarch caterpillars and butterflies all over the place. Have some Bailey here, good vegetation. Have Katuk. I guess it basically sprang back from last year. We got I think it's like 7 or 9 in 1 stone fruit. I'm gonna definitely cover this in the spring. It's flowered a few times. Some of the fruit fell already, so I think by spring should be ready to put off some nice fruits. More taro right here. Hibiscus, I actually took a cutting of this before it froze last year and replanted it. It's coming back nice, probably has a nice root system. This is just like my mini nursery here, but I have some clones of things. I had some sweet potatoes on standby over there, some slips that I collected. I should probably get this mango in a better circumstance. It does not like the cold at all. This is what happens. It's kind of like a fungal type thing. I think it secretes a little something on the leaves, and it's like you almost have to scrub it off, but you can. And it's okay, it's not dying or anything, but I found that the mango is not very happy in the greenhouse either, although it will keep it alive. This is just an Orinoco I pulled. Hit me up in the comments if you're in Houston and you're interested in it. I just didn't want to waste it. Some jujube, ice plant, some yucca I pulled a pup from somewhere where I found it. Some avocados. This is like a native avocado that someone grew from seed. It's a seedling Criollo. It's supposed to be really cold hardy, but I'll probably put it in the greenhouse. On the side here, I have a jujube that's basically the rootstock. I may graft onto this, but it puts off a ton of fruit. They're not huge, but the fact that it basically produces all year round, I'm not really in a hurry to graft onto it. Now we're making our way towards the back here. Things are a little messy. I have some cleaning up to do, but we have a nice bamboo fence for privacy for my pergola. This is just more ornamental. I just kind of like it for the pergola. A palm, I think it's a queen palm maybe. I do have some, I guess, Japanese honeysuckle growing out of a pot back here. It may be better in the ground. This is my walking path though, but I may end up planting it kind of below there, the lattice maybe. So on this hedge, you can kind of see the same theme there, a nice hedge. But we have the fire bush. We have some Mexican sunflower. I might want to chop and drop that before the freeze. I was kind of hoping for some flowers just to give the pollinators something to eat while it's cooler weather. Have a tamarind in there. I had to replant that with another seedling, backup seedling I had, but it put on a lot of growth. And right there is some chaya, some broccoli. This one's not doing great in this spot, probably not enough sun, but I just harvested another head from another spot. Some pineapple in there, eggplant, same deal, not crazy productive. Got a nice pawpaw going to sleep there. I have a number of mulberries right here too. That is the Pakistan, going to sleep, no fruit. Another white Russian back here that's been grafted onto. I have an avocado seedling next to a jackfruit seedling. I think I may have just thrown a seed there and it took. But yeah, I may just leave this, see what it does, both of them. Next to a mulberry. I may do this in a future video. This is another jackfruit that came back from the freeze, but I'm thinking they're compatible and I may try to graft the jackfruit onto this mulberry and do a joint graft so it's non-destructive. If it doesn't work, fine. But that would be interesting to see if I can get the jackfruit grafted onto the mulberry there. This isn't everbearing. It's putting off a ton of fruit right now for like the third time this year, hence the name everbearing. And you'll also see a ton of loofah growing throughout here. Just a nice trellis while everything's in semi-dormancy. It's actually growing right next to the persimmon. This is like an American persimmon, native. Some broccoli and collards. More katuk, Mexican sunflower. Eugenia here. Some more bamboo for privacy. And we have the ice cream banana that has not yet fruited, but it is back from the freeze. We have the namwa. This bunch, I don't think this clump has fruited yet, but I do have plenty of fruit sets next to the pond. I have a little island here in which I do have a white zapote. It's been grafted onto. It had a hard time establishing almost all summer, and now that we're into fall here, winter, it's doing a little better. If we get a really hard freeze, I'll have to do something about that. But I like how established the roots are. I know they spread a lot, so I really don't want to mess with it if I can help it. It's in a small enough space that I could actually build something around it if it's forecasted to be really cold. I could build a cold frame around it. We just have a few peppers in here, some brassicas, really nice. Poblanos we've been getting all year round. There's some more voluntary tomatoes. And here we have some katuk. What I believe it's a wild grape vine in there. Muscadine, I'm assuming. Back here we have, one of these is a Meyer lemon and the other one is a key lime, kind of tucked away back there. Really, while it was really hot, I was just kind of keeping it tucked away, letting it get established. This is moringa that came back from a hard freeze. So that's pretty awesome. These are good genetics. I have lots of these seeds saved. So yeah, most of the time a freeze that hard, moringa's not bouncing back. This little island I have Pisang Kalang banana. Didn't make it through the freeze, got another one. It's putting off a pup already. So I'll probably put the pup in the greenhouse and see if this guy's root system now is well established. Should make it through a light freeze. This is just a native type of prickly pear that had really good fruit on it. It's got a little disease going on. I think I need to get it in some more full sun. I think it really likes full sun. That's some more of that native prickly pear that's always done really well for me that I salvaged from the freeze. Some pomegranate back there, yucca, agave. Over here, you guys have probably seen a video, my Peruvian apple cactus. Not crazy cold hardy, but it's potted so I can take it inside if I need to. There's a nice cutting from it, so I have backup. I just harvested. I need to put some more potting soil in here, but I left some of the turmeric. Yeah, I harvested a bunch, but I'm gonna leave some of it to keep growing. Some ginger back there, shampoo ginger. In here I have a couple of different blueberries, some katuk, Mexican sunflowers, another blueberry potted up there. This is, a lot of it's died back, but some more turmeric. I let it go for like 2 years in the bed, so I get a really nice harvest. Some Orinoco, and hopefully we don't get a hard freeze, but we do have fruit there. It's got a ways to go before I can harvest. Got a nice che tree here. It actually put off one fruit last year and something got to it before I did. I didn't even get to try it. I've never even tried che, but it's doing well. It's doing its thing. Still have some yard-long beans still going. Have a few on there I could harvest. This is my Ruby Supreme guava back from the freeze, growing nice and bushy. I'm gonna let it bush out for a while, and then I may prune it to have more of a canopy. But I think it has a better microclimate as it's bushy. It does really well even if you prune it back. I'm not gonna prune it back until after winter in case we get any die off. Have a fig here. I'm not exactly sure of the cultivar. It was off of a little cutting, but good figs, good producer. More opportune self-seeding tomatoes there. This bed did really crappy. I think if you look at the canopy here, those Namwas have just taken over. And when the jujube was going and the peach before I pruned it, I think just too much shade back here this year. So yeah, most of the kales and stuff I planted, not doing so hot. Banana peppers though, they're doing all right. This is another fig. I believe this is Celeste back here. I just put it in the ground last year. I just recorded a video on this. I've already posted a video on pruning this. It had some damage, but I do have a successful graft as backup. So it's the same rootstock, but healthy with the snow peach graft on it. Tropic snow peach. Back here I have some backup ice cream bananas that are doing really well, better than the other ones. They're getting full sun now that they've grown over this building structure here. I basically mulched with sugarcane after the freeze, so wherever it popped up, if it made sense, I let it. There's an ice cream bean behind it, so I'm using it as a microclimate right now. Here's another loquat that had some damage on it. I don't know if it were blight, but I cut it way back and now it's looking nice and healthy. No blight. I believe this is sweet sop. It's not gonna like the cold weather, but I'll probably build something around it. But yeah, right now what they do, they're evergreen, but if it gets cold, they'll shed leaves. But it's perfectly healthy right now, and it's seen 40-degree temperatures for prolonged period, so it's doing fine. It's got a nice thick trunk. If anything, I'll probably mulch up really crazy around the trunk if we get a cold snap. There's an egg fruit seedling down here. Same thing. It'd be really easy for me to build a structure around that, so I'll probably do that. Jaboticaba, right there. It did not like transplant, but it seems to be doing well now, putting on some new growth. Fuyu persimmon. Still have not gotten fruit out of this. I've since chopped back this overgrowth kind of behind the neighbor's house. Maybe that'll help it get a little more sun. Pancho avocado looking real healthy back there. I had this structure up from the summer, but I'll go ahead and leave it up to give it an additional microclimate. Next to some carambola or star fruit. I have a seedling in there right next to one that came back from the dead. So I think that was a seedling as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave those be underneath the papaya canopy. All of these had self-seeded, and I either transplanted them into this spot. I think it makes a nice little grove tucked in here. Could probably be thinned out a little more, but I'll let the winter do that for me. Guava here, I believe that's a pineapple guava. This is my, like, I don't know, 8-in-1 apple tree. I've seen some flowers here and there. To be honest, I'm probably gonna have to take out some of these papaya to give it some more sun, but now that it's growing a little higher, I think it'll do all right. Behind that is passion vine. Got it trellising along the fence after, yeah, it all died back to last year, so I had to start from scratch with a seedling from some seeds I collected. You guys may want to help me out with this fantastic. For some reason, I've always had crappy luck with fantastic avocados. I've cut this way down. It keeps dying from the top, which is odd because the rootstock looks fine. The bottom of the scion looks fine, but I think I give up on fantastic. They're supposed to be cold hardy. They really did not like the summer, so based on how it's doing, I just cut it back and it's still dying from there. I think I'm done with fantastic. If you guys know anything, throw it down in the comments. Some curry tree right here. A bunch of elderberry growing up all over the place. And a nice loquat back here, flowered, and it's starting to fruit. Right here, I just have a wild mulberry, but I am pruning it to branch out into the goat pen to give them some additional shade. And right here, I have the namwa putting off at least 2 racks that I can see. There's 1, there's 2 up there. Sugarcane in here, and I also have my ice cream beet seedling tucked away back there. Came back from the dead. I'm gonna see how it does this winter, and yeah, I may have to cut back some of those bananas because they're interfering with the root system there. Also, I have an Asian pear, predominantly Asian, and I grafted on something a while back. Kiefer, I believe. Yeah. And just looking at the pond here, lots of growth in there. Unless anything dies, I'm not going to take it out. It's making nice insulation for the koi in there. A lot of cattails and stuff. I put in a lot of local native plants in there. They seem to be doing well. All right, guys, so there you have it. Really quick run through of what I have growing right now. Really, I wanted to document it primarily for myself, to see what survives, what doesn't, how it does. I always like, you know, seeing how things made it and their progress throughout the year, especially right before winter, because after last winter, it looked like a bomb went off in here, like everything was dead. So it is good to look back and see how long things take to spring back, etc., and also share that with you guys. All right, guys, well, that's gonna do it for today's video. As always, feel free to leave comments below and I'll try to get to those. And if you haven't subscribed by now, consider doing so. This is kind of like a real quick run through gist of what I have going on this channel. So if it interests you, feel free to subscribe. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, thanks for tuning in. Until next time.